So in the previous lesson, we had an address of 10.5.0.1 with a /26 CIDR. And our subnet address was 255.255.255.192. We then calculated these subnet addresses of 10.5.0.0.64.128 and .192. But what are the key addresses in each of these subnet addresses? Let's find out right now. We got to look at two addresses at a time in order to do this. So let's start with the first two, 0 and 64. Let's get some fighting room there. This here is the first subnet address. This is the second subnet address. We're interested in the address range here for 10.5.0.0 up to, but not including this guy. So the last address belonging to 10.5.0.0 is a broadcast address. Well, where is that? Well, it's located at the next address, .64 minus 1, which puts me at .63. This is the broadcast address. You cannot use this address. It is reserved. The address just before the broadcast address, this one here, this is the last usable address in the subnet. So broadcast minus 1 gives you the last usable address in this subnet here. Well, what about the first usable address in this subnet? Well, that immediately follows the subnet address and would be 10.5.0. This is 0, it's got to be 1. So you can use all of these from .1 all the way down to and including .62. 63 is the broadcast address and it is reserved. This pattern continues without abatement. So let's now move the 64 address up for evaluation, like so. Now 128 will be the second address, 10.5.0.128. Now the broadcast for the 64 network will be the next subnet address, 128, minus 1, which is .127. Minus 1 will give me the last usable address, .126. And the first usable address will be the subnet address, .64 plus 1. That's .65. We can use all of these. .65 all the way up to and including .126. 127 is the broadcast, reserved. Now let's move 128 up for evaluation, like so. Now 192 will be the second address. Now the broadcast for the 128 network will be 192 minus 1, that's 191. Minus 1 will give me the last usable address, .190. And the .128 address plus 1 will give me the first usable address, that's .129. So you can use all of these addresses, .129 all the way down to .190. Now, let's finally move the 192 address up for evaluation. And the second address for evaluation will be, 256. Well, wait a second. We can't do that. I know that 192 and 64 is 256, but the last number allowable here is 255. After that, after 255, you're going to get a carry of 1 to the next column, just like this, and zeros out the other octet to zeros, just like this. So this would be the next address. Let's put that to the test. Take out your calculator. Go to View, Programmer. You get this. This is the important part over here. It'll probably say decimal. If not, click on decimal to select it. And then key in 255. Now, click on binary and look what you get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You get 8 ones, which is 255 decimal. Now, if you add 1 to 255 in decimal, you're going to get 256. Now, let's add 1 to 255 in binary and see what we get in binary. I keyed in +1. I'm going to click on equal, and I get 8 zeros and a carry of 1. What does that equal? Well, $8 to donuts. This is going to equal 256. Click on the dec button, the decimal button, and see. And voila, we get 256. 1 followed by 8 zeros is 256 in binary. And in binary again, we get 1. Click on binary, we get 1 and 8 zeros. We had 256 here. Click on binary, and you're going to get 1 and 8 zeros. They're the same. So the zeros and a carry of 1 for the next subnet address equals 256. That's the next subnet address, in other words. 256 written this way will be the second address for evaluation with the 192. So the broadcast for the 192 address will be 256 written this way, -1, which gives me .255. -1 gives me .254. That's the last usable address. Then I go to the subnetwork address, add 1 to it, and I get the first usable address, .193. And so you can use all of these addresses. But you say to me, George, I'm still a little bit unsure of this. Is there another way I can verify all of this? Yes, we go to Google and we key in IP space calculator. And here's a good one, jodis.de/ipcalc. Click on this guy. We come to this screen. Now I put up our last screen over here on the left-hand side. I'm going to compare it to what we key in for jodis.de IP calculator. So I key in 10.5.0.192. That's the subnet address. And then I key in /26, the /CIDR address. Now I click on calculate, and look what it calculates for me. It says this is 10.5.0.192. The net mask is 255.192. That was my subnet mask, /26. Then down here we see 10.5.0.192/26. Okay, that's my guy here. What's my broadcast for this subnet? It's 10.5.0.255. Bingo, we got a match right there. What about my first usable address, 10.5.0.193 over here? Host min 10.5.0.193. That's what it calls the first usable address, the host min. Well, what do you think it calls the last usable address, host address? 10.5.0.254. The host max, 10.5.0.254. So, as you can see, this worked. This is George Boole. Share, like, and good luck.